morning, welcome along. Today is Wednesday the 16th of February 2022. This is your 8 a.m. movement snack. How the devil are you? If you want to catch up, firstly, hello, welcome. Pop us a comment in, let us know you've been in. Let us know we've shared a little bit of time together. And whatever it is doing, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is, it's windy. I should imagine it's cold. It certainly looks it. But it's bright here at the moment, so we'll see what today brings, shall we? We shall wait with bated breath and see what today brings. So this is your 8 a.m. movement snack. It's the first of our movement snacks of the day. It's where we start to mobilise the joints and get things moving. So we start to get ourselves prepared for the day ahead. So let's wait and see if anybody comes along and says they're going to play along with me. What time is it? Am I really, really early? I don't think so. Where are you all? No one's coming to play. Hello? Hello. How is everybody? You all there? I don't know what's going on today. Here we go. Mrs. P has just arrived. I can stop talking to myself and worrying now, Mrs. P. I was panicking that I'd pressed the wrong button somewhere, or something, so I do. I can be relieved now. Thank you. George, good morning to you. Still croaky, still full of it, but hey, things go on, don't they? Life goes on, so let's buckle on down and get this show on the road, shall we? See what we can do. You got to smile anyway, haven't you? Right, good morning to you, George. Hope things are good with you. Up in Cruden Bay, what's it like? It's windy here. The old trees are shaking about all over the place. Good morning, Christine. How the devil are you? Do I sound terrible? Sorry. I think it's all the coffee and I've got no real voice now. Cough all the time. Hey, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. I'm feeling heaps better than I was, I tell you. Good morning to you, Jane. Jane Andrews is in with us. Good to see you. Good to have you with us. Bad hair day again. Hence the hat. You don't want to see what's happening under this hat. Oh, yeah. But here we are. This is Wednesday. It's the 16th of February 2022. And this is your 8 a.m. movement snack. Good morning, Vivian. How the devil are you? Good to have you with us. And good morning, Francis. Good to have you back as well with us. Yeah, this is better. This is better, George. You know, everything's relative, isn't it? You know, I was able to get me back off the bed today. And I'm able to carry on doing things. So let's, you know, it is what it is. Let's go for it. This is our 8 a.m. movement snack. It's our first opportunity to get things moving. And you know, the other part of it is I didn't see you all last week. I've missed you all. You know, you're part of my daily routine. I miss you when you're not. When I don't get a chance to spend a little bit of time with you all. And let's see, the more I talk, the more I might get my throat lubricated and get things moving. Perhaps it's because I haven't had time to make myself a cup of tea yet. So that could be not helping, I guess. But hey, we'll keep going, shall we? I'll have a quick look at my time. What's it doing? Is it nearly 8 o'clock? Nearly there. Look at 7:59. And then I can put the actions into motion. One guarantee is you're not going to get a great deal of waffle from me today, are you? Hey? The old throat, a bit of a rest. Jane, such a lovely smile. You're feeling better. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Kelsey, Husky, if anybody wants some, if you want an answer phone message recording, I can do it for you today. Hi everybody, welcome. Christine, it's good to have you with us. Gillian Hillier, good morning in from a wet Portola. Let's see if we can get some sunniness happening in there. Oh, don't get me started on Barry White, Bex. Because you know what? You guys are my first, my last, my everything. We're at 8 a.m. Shall we have a swipe of those comments? Off we go. Shall we have a 3, 2, 1? Good morning, everybody. Welcome along. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Wednesday. It's the 16th of February 2022, and this is your 8 a.m. movement snack. Opportunity number one to get those bodies are moving. Circulation boosting and mobility is the flavour of this snack. So should we get ourselves going? Come on then. Bring yourself in when you're ready, folks. In standing, we've got our fixed external support available to us. In seated, we've got a good sturdy chair. Got my old sockies on so I can feel the floor underneath my feet. But if I was on a hard floor, it would be sensible, comfortable footwear. Nothing that's going to cause me any issues, nothing that I can trip over or tread on or anything like that. Base support wise, starting down the bottom, let's work our way up. Those heels are in line with our knees, in line with our hips. It's a lift and a lengthen from our hips to grow that a little bit taller. Bringing those shoulders up, back, and pressing them down. So we open this rib cage. In seated, we do all of that as well. But before we do any of it, we need to bring the back off the chair, don't we? So sitting in our chair now, oh, that's good. That's good. Bring the back away from the chair. Lift and shift to bring yourself into the front third. And then once you're sat in the front third, let's line it all up again. Shoulders up, back and press down. And start with our circulation boosting. We start at the bottom, we work our way up. So, heel raises, controlled, not racing them, getting this movement happening. We start at the bottom, we start small, and then we make things bigger. So to make this bigger, rather than faster to increase our intensity, let's lift that foot clear of the floor. Exactly the same in standing, using our support if we need it. This gives us an opportunity to start to mobilise those ankles a bit more before we get to our trio of ankle, feet and toes. Remembering in seated, if we get any local muscle fatigue up here, it's a big movement into our hips. We've got that heel raise that we can come back into. Or how about a little tap of those toes, a little tap of that toe out diagonally forwards, just to change that movement around a bit. Pop an arm in, just the one to start off with. Arm number one, elbow bent, driving it backwards so it's a controlled, purposeful movement. And then in seated and in standing, if you're not using support, let's just change to the other hand. Now if we are using support, we're going to change to the other hand, but we need to think about it. So support in front, hand comes down, other hand comes off. That's the important thing. There's always a hand in contact with that support. To the side, this means we lose the arm on one side. We take smaller steps to turn to the other side, holding and taking as many steps as we need. Both hands on as we turn into it. Then once we've turned all the way around, we bring the other hand in on the other side. And then finally in seated and in standing, if you feel steady and stable, why not both arms, both legs? Get it moving. More of the body moving, more of an ask as far as our intensity is concerned. So we're going to ask the heart to beat a little bit faster. We're going to ask the chest to expand a little bit more to get more oxygen in there so we can get oxygen around the body. We can warm the muscles, we can warm the joints, we can get our joints loosened and ready to go for the day ahead. Okay, 2 minutes, 3 max. Bring this down a little bit. Start to lose your arms. Bring it to a little bit of a smaller movement as far as your legs are concerned. Back into that heel raise, bringing it to a pause, at which point a couple of deep breaths is probably what's going to be asked for. So, okay, let's take it into our first set of trios. We're starting at the top, we're coming down into our trunk, and then we're going down to the ankle, feet and toes. So top trio, up here, base of support wise, let's get those heels outside of our hips in line with our shoulders. Now if we're in seated as well and standing is on our radar, let's get used to this space of support as well. We start with our shoulders, and the first movement is the shoulders lifting towards our ears and then pressing back down. A lift and a press. Now as we press, come past your starting point. So we're driving those shoulder blades down the back towards our back pockets, towards our bottom, so we get the best range of motion possible. Remember that we might not have the same amount of motion on either side, so we might find that one shoulder goes a little bit higher than the other. There's a great opportunity for that old crowbar to come in later on and focus on the side where they feel there is less mobility. Once you've done your 4 or 5, let's take it into this rotational movement. So from here, we're going to bring the shoulder blades forward. We lift it towards our ears, back past the earlobe, shoulder blades together, and we press down. So we get this cyclical motion happening. And again, slow and controlled. Feel every part of your shoulder mobilizing and try and get the best range of motion. If we race this too much, it just becomes this sort of movement. If we really slow it down, we can start to get a really good range of motion in there. 4 or 5 is what we're looking for as far as that is concerned. And then once you've done your 4 or 5, take a pause, have a check of our base of support because we're going to go into our head turns. Now have some support available, even if you don't think you need it, because turning our head can make us feel a little bit disorientated at times. It can even make us say words that don't even exist like that. Look, disoriented. I don't know. It's been a long day. Right, so we're going to keep the eye line level. Using your support if we need it. We turn to the side. We come back and pause in the centre, and then we turn the other way. And we're trying to bring our chin over our shoulder. Remembering, however, that there should be no pain, unless you have pain normally, in which case, no more pain. Exactly the same in seated as well. As we're keeping our feet firmly on the floor in our standing position, we're keeping our bottom firmly attached to that chair in seated. And once again, we're trying to get the best range of motion. Thinking about crossing the road, talking to people who might be next to us, reaching to get something. I made a loaf of bread yesterday. Well, I say I made a loaf of bread. I put all the ingredients in the bread maker and switched it off. Put all the ingredients there. I'm there for the yeast. I'm here for the sugar or the salt or whatever it is. We're not moving about. We use his head all the time, don't we? Once you've done your 4 or 5 on each side, take a pause. And let's go into our back of our neck. So it's this part here we're going to straighten out. Eye line is going to stay level, fingers on chin, and we come back and straighten at the back of our neck. Have a look. So either the fingers stay on the chin and guide, or we leave the fingers where they are as a guide for how far we come forward. From the front, you don't see a great deal of movement, look. But from the side, you can see that we're lining everything up. We're stacking the head back onto the top of the spine. We're getting that centre of balance, or centre of gravity in the right place in that body. Head tends to drift forward. It's heavy, you know. Mine's not at the moment because I've left my brain asleep on the pillow upstairs. But it's a heavy part of the body, and as that comes forward, it's going to start to drag everything else forward with it as well. Once you've done your 4 or 5 of those, take a pause. Trio 1, done. Let's move to trio 2, but before we do it, let's have a little circulation booster again. Feet only this time, no arms. And we're talking about 30 seconds. So in standing, we've got this march going, holding our support if we need it. In seated, we've got this march going. We may come into those toe taps in front, just to get the body re-energized a little bit. Circulation boosted one more time, as we head from our top trio down into our trunk trio. So after 30 seconds, let's bring this to a pause and let's get that base of support set up again. Heels are outside of our hips in line with our shoulders. A really good base of support there. Knees soften. They're not locked. They're not bent. They're softened, okay? And that gives us some shock absorption, if you like, into the feet. It's going to help us keep this pelvis still. As we go into our first movement, which is our side bend. Coming straight down to the side and straight back up and then the other way. And it is a straight down, straight up movement. It's not forwards or backwards. Support in front, you change every time, making sure your hand goes on before you start it on the other side. If it's to the side, then it comes into the support, back into the centre, and then again to your support. Do your 4 or 5 on the one side and then take as many steps as you need to turn to the other. In seated, again, we get that good base of support there, and our bottom stays firmly on the chair as we reach down towards the side, pause in the centre, and then down the other way to the other side. But as I say, the bottom stays firmly on that chair. Don't go lifting any buttocks, no buttock lifting here, okay? Keep it firmly on that chair. It's about mobilising down through the side of the body. Imagine you're reaching down the side of the sofa. I'm sure I dropped some change down there yesterday. You never know, I might find the odd fiver or something slip down there as well. Or I might find a whole ton worth of coins down there. You never know what you might find down the side of a sofa though. So be careful. It could be reaching into a bag. It could be reaching into a lower cupboard. It's just not just those sorts of things, but it's about mobilising this part of our body. Once you've done your 4 or 5 on each side, take a pause, and we're heading into a trunk twist. So here again, the bottom stays firmly on the chair. No buttock lifting, okay? Elbows in line with shoulders, and we rotate towards the side. We twist to the side. We pause in the centre, and then we take it the other way. In our standing position, it's these hips we're trying to keep still, and that's why we kept our bottom firmly on the chair. So turning here, pausing in the centre, then the other way. And again, changing hands every time with support if you need it. If you're to the side, turn in, do that side, and then turn to the side. Or how about this? Utilise your support as a reference point, as the chair. Now, with the chair, I can feel here. It's the same. If I feel my bottom lifting, I know I've got movement in my hips. Yeah, if I feel it staying weighted against that support, whether it be behind or in front, it could be your hips or in front of your support here. But again, I know if I can feel the hip moving away, I know there's movement into my hips. And that's going to help, especially for the likes of me. Noggin doesn't have to multitask now. It can focus on just this movement. It hasn't got to worry about this. It can let the old senses in the body feel if something's going awry. Brain-wise can just think about getting that movement happening. Crossing the roads again, doing your seatbelt. The new Dutch method of opening your car door, I think it's called, where you have to reach across. You're supposed to reach across with the opposite hand to open your car door. But rolling over in bed as well. All those sorts of activities, even getting in and out of the car, because we've got this movement coming in and then we're swinging the body around, aren't we? It's all those movements that are involved as far as this part of our body is concerned. Once you're in your 4 or 5, take a pause and we're into our back extender. Now here, we don't want any pelvises coming in forward or back. Elvis has left the building and he's taking his pelvis moves with him, and Tom Jones is not in sight, okay? We're going to lift the chest and we're going to extend. So we lift and extend, keeping this pelvis still. Now again, in standing, you might find that using your support as a reference point gives you a better movement. I've said this time and time again, and I mean it. I feel I get a better range of motion in the seated position. And it's simply because I don't have to focus on the movement within my hips, because I can feel whether my pelvis is moving. Now, I feel I get a better range of motion up here, and I can feel that far more into my lower back, because I'm focusing all my attention into getting this movement happening. I'm not focusing on it. Hang on, is that moving as well? But that's just me. Simpleton from Coventry. That's me. 4 or 5 of those. And if you suffer from any lower back pain, that is really going to help. Now, the important thing there, remember, is it's not lean. So we're not hinging backwards. Really focus on keeping this pelvis still. It's a lift and it's an extend. And certainly you will feel it into your lower back. So again, in standing, it might be using that support as your reference point. Now, once you've done your 4 or 5, take a pause and let's head back into a circulation booster. We've done the bottoms, let's go for the top. Arms only. Drive those arms forward and back, keeping those elbows bent still, so it's still that driven, controlled movement. And we might want to make it a little bit bigger in the front and get a bit of rotation into that shoulder and chest area happening. 30 seconds is what we're looking for again before we head downstairs into our ankle, feet and toes. So once you've done your 30 seconds, let's bring this down a little bit, make it a little bit smaller, bring it to a pause. Let's head down to our ankle, feet and toes. Now in standing, have support. It's not about balance, it's about mobility. Leg closest to the support stays where it is, knee stays soft. Other leg, let's bring it up so you can see those knees are soft, look, yeah? They're not locked out, they're not bent, they're soft. The other one comes in, you might want to look for the first one as we put the toe on the floor and then we put the heel in exactly the same place. Once you feel comfortable with it, When your heel's on the floor, splay your toes. As you bring the foot over, scrunch them, and then point them towards the floor. Here we go. So heel, lifting, and pointing. Yeah. 4 or 5 on one side, and then as many steps as you need to turn to the other side. Set yourself up again, and away you go on the other side. In seated, you can do exactly the same. You're going to need to adjust your legs to get that space, to get a good range of motion in. But you can do exactly the same. Or you can take a little hip walk back into the chair. Rest yourself against the back of the chair. Extend one leg away in front. Just bring it slightly off the floor. About an inch. That's all you need, just an inch. Point the toes away, and here you can scrunch them. And then bring those toes in towards your shin and splay the toes out. So you've got your point and your flex type movement there. That'll give us a real good range of motion in that ankle. Now I said, and I say every time, this isn't about balance, so use your support. This isn't about strength, so if you need to pop your foot down and have a rest, pop your foot down and have a rest, yeah? We're not about building strength into our legs at this point. That comes later in the day. And equally, don't allow your leg to come up. It's just an inch. Now, we all know what an inch is, don't we? It's about that. That's all it is, yeah? So a little movement. Once you've done your 4 or 5 on one side, you change it to the other side. Now, if standing is not on your radar, go over one of the other mobility exercises we've just done to fill the time, yeah? And to finish this off in standing, we can bring this to the movement that we go through as far as our walk is concerned. Very exaggerated, but there it is. Look, it's that heel-toe movement. Here's the heel on the floor. Here's us coming up onto our toes at the back, and that's the movement we're emulating. And certainly if you're in your socks on a carpeted floor, feel those toes engaging as you come up onto the balls of the feet and the toes. There we go. That is us done for this Wednesday morning. Have a great day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Hopefully I'll have a bit more of a voice back by then, but we'll see, okay? Have a wonderful day. Stay active, stay mobile, keep crowbarring, look after yourselves, and I'll see you real soon. Toodles, everybody.